Hello again, my dear audience, and welcome to the second part of this talk considering the role of fuel cells and solar energy in climate change problems. In the first half, we have successfully completed our general talk considering solar cells and solar energy. And in this second part, we are going to discuss together some um, primitive, or let me say, some shallow perspective considering the role of fuel cell in in alternating fossil fuel based electrical energy generation and consequently reduce carbon dioxide emissions. So, what is a fuel cell? We can understand the role of a fuel cell from this very simple schematic. Without going into the chemistry beyond the theory, it's a very standard way of combining hydrogen and oxygen flow in order to produce electrical energy or an electrical current. So, in this case, our input is hydrogen and oxygen, and our output again is an electrical energy. So, as you can understand from this schematic, the main concept beyond the operation of a fuel cell is to have a flow of hydrogen, or in other words, to have a source for hydrogen. Herein, we can see different kinds or different types or classification of hydrogen. These classifications across gray, blue, green, and brown is function in the process beyond extracting hydrogen. And as we are seeking for a renewable, sustainable green source, we are considering green hydrogen as the most important or the most promising way of extracting hydrogen. So, what is a green hydrogen? A green hydrogen is a process of extracting hydrogen from water using the process we call it electrolysis. And this electrolysis process requires some sort of an external electrical energy source. So, to make this process in a form of a complete green process, we shall use a renewable energy source in order to generate our electrolysis process. This can be demonstrated in this diagram. As you can see, here we use solar cells, we use photovoltaic panels in order to generate the electrolyzers, which inputted with water, and we got from this the hydrogen, and herein our hydrogen is a green hydrogen. So in such a schematic, you can see the hybridization between two different renewable energy sources. The first one is the solar energy, which is used to operate the electrolyzer. And the second one is the fuel cell itself, where we use this fuel cell to produce electrical power. And herein, we are seeking minimum carbon dioxide emission. So if you remember my early slides, we have mentioned earlier that we are considering the integration of such renewable energy sources for the sake of alternating other fossil fuel based electrical energy generation to reduce carbon dioxide emission. So, what should be the impact? You can see here the carbon dioxide equivalent emission in gallon per kilowatt hour, or gram, sorry, per kilowatt hour. So this is the amount of carbon dioxide emission produced in a unit of gram per generation of each kilowatt hour. And here you can see the huge difference between using coal, gas, or this sort of bio or fossil fuel based, with respect of using renewable energy sources like solar, hydro, nuclear, or wind. That's why replacing carbon dioxide or replacing standard or traditional sources of electricity generation by relatively renewable sources shall significantly impact the carbon dioxide emission all over the world. Now, this is the second part where I will stop asking for your question. In this final stage in this talk, I'm going to show you some examples that have been implemented, conducted, tested in our labs in the British University in Egypt related to climate change actions with the concern of renewable energy systems. And in a specific, as I just mentioned in the beginning of my lecture, those related to solar energy and fuel cells. So these trials were attempts in terms of either a community service actions or for the sake of research and innovation, as you will see. In early 2018, which was maybe 6 years from now, we have invented the first bilingual BV sizing tool for non-technical users. So what is the target of this tool? Simply, a lot of people are seeking for replacing the traditional electricity coming from the grid with some sort of renewable and mainly solar energy alternatives. Because as you know, solar energy alternatives can be easily implemented on the roof of the building. However, most of the people does not have this technical background to understand or to even estimate some sort of important critical parameters. Like, for example, does the area of my roof is sufficient enough to provide me with the needed energy? How much money should I pay in order to install this system? To what extent this system will make a reduction in the cost? What is the lifetime of this system? What is the operational cost of this system? I believe that most of the non-technical residentials cannot answer these questions. And definitely, they are not qualified enough to use technical tools that can answer this question. In this regard, we have invented the first bilingual, and what I mean by bilingual, that we have this mobile app and website in both English and Arabic, so that we can target a huge amount of residentials and commercials in Egypt and in different Arab country worlds as well. So in this case, what you just need to input is, as you can see in the next slide, only you are going to input 3 very easy inputs. The first is your sector, your location from Google Map, the area of your roof, the type of the area you have in your roof, and 3 samples of 3 electricity bills you paid in the previous year. This all we need from you, which is, as you can see, an information that anyone can know, either in case of your residential house or in the case of your commercial workshop, small factory, shop, or whatever. And giving this data, we are going to calculate everything for you concerning the money needed, the initial cost needed, the operational cost, the lifetime, the reduction in the electricity bill that you are going to observe, everything you are going to do. That's why we call it as a pre-sizing tool for non-technical users. So we believe that such tools are very helpful to disseminate the renewable energy culture in developing countries like Egypt. Please feel free, my dear audience, to scan this QR code and to log in on our website. And by the way, it's also available in Google Store for Android users as a mobile app, of course. And you can try this for free, of course. This is a full free tool. Just you need to input, as I mentioned, some very basic information about your location and your home. And what you are going to do is, or what you're going to get is all the data you need, either from a technical perspective or from an economic perspective. Another investigation we did is that we make a full techno-economic visibility on the capability of providing renewable energy sources in the roof of our campus building. And you can access a series of publications that we have published across the previous six or 7 years concerning different scenarios or different integration scenarios for renewable energy sources. Again, all these visibilities were implemented from technical perspective and also from an economic perspective. And it is not only limited to visibilities. We have implemented the first sustainable green building in an Egyptian university campus. In our campus, typically for those BUE students, they will typically know this building. It's just in front of building B and ahead from building H. This is called the wind tunnel building. As you can see, this building is fully powered using PV modules, and we are currently working on the phase of making this building smart, so to become a sustainable, green, and smart building. This building includes 3 types of renewable energy resources. As you can see in the front end of this building, we have implemented or fixed a series of PV modules with a wattage of 5 kilowatts. And also inside the building, we have a demonstration prototype for a wind tunnel, which is a source of air to operate a wind turbine. And also we have a prototype for a working fuel cell with a wattage of 100 watts. That's why we consider this wind tunnel building as a typical museum for the different sources of renewable energy that can be integrated to power electrical loads. Also, in our lab, we have the capability to fabricate a complete solar cell. Here, we are fabricating some sort of a new trends of solar cell, not silicon-based solar cell. We are fabricating new trends of solar cells, including organic, perovskites, and Dyson-sized solar cells. Also, one of the very interesting experiments related to solar energy is how you characterize solar cells after fabrication. Of course, the typical answer will be just directed to the sun, and you can measure the efficiency of your solar cell. But unfortunately, this is not applicable from an engineering perspective, simply because you are not controlling the sun. The sun radiance can vary from time to time. You can find a cloud days. You can find uncontrollable temperature or humidity. So this is not a standard condition for testing. That's why people are using what we call a solar simulator. A solar simulator is simply that you invent your sun. It's an artificial sun that has the same radiance level compared to the normal sun, but it's an artificial, which means that we make it using some sort of an artificial lighting source. Herein we are using what we can call the light emitting dyes, and we are controlling everything inside this cable: temperature, radiance level, humidity, everything is controlled. So whenever we fabricate solar cells, we can characterize our solar cells under the standard test condition. Again, this is 100% device fabricated from our perspective. So it's not a commercially based device, it's a customized based device that we fabricated. I mean, our students, postgraduate and undergraduate, our staff, we fabricated this device. Okay. Another very important application for solar energy, which was slightly maybe outside the scope of this talk, which is the thermoelectrical energy harvesters. What do we mean by thermoelectrical energy harvesters? Is the capability to convert thermal difference or temperature difference into electricity. As you can see here in this example, as solar cells are directed to heavy dose of sun, normally solar cells are heated with relatively higher degrees. Normally, the normal operating cell temperature for a solar cell is from 10 to 20 degrees higher than the ambient temperature. So, for example, if we consider summer days in Egypt, like those days, and we have a temperature on average of 40 degrees, then you should expect a solar cell temperature of about 60 degrees Celsius. In this case, you can use this excess energy coming from the backside of a solar cell to generate additional electricity by using those thermoelectrical harvesters, which is another source of creating extra energy from one side and also using as a cooling technique for your solar cell. This is also another example for a real system. This system is also established with the IEEE fund. IEEE is one of the very famous societies related to electronics engineering or electrical engineering. And using a fund of $10K, we have established a complete PV system in a charity unit for children. The target of this system is to provide the charity unit with an electricity that compensates from 70 to 75% of their monthly consumption. So instead of paying 100% of their electricity bill, you are going to pay only 25% of this electricity bill. And this is a screenshot. I'm sorry. And this is a screenshot from the daily production. And these numbers are very interesting numbers to read, considering how this energy yield impacted the environment. So we have reduced the carbon dioxide emission by about 333 kilogram of carbon dioxide emission. We have reduced the coal, safe standard coal of about 135 kilogram. This is equivalent of as if we have implemented about 18 tree. So this is a very nice way to see how renewable energy system can equivalent or can impact your environment. In the lecture, I'm going to show you this in a form of a real show, inshallah. Finally, let me terminate this lecture by what is the future of this renewable energy technology. One of the very interesting things that we are conducting now from a research perspective is how we can use the informatics, the machine learning, the artificial intelligence, and the neural network in energy harvesting. Actually, this can be in different forms. From one perspective, machine learning and artificial intelligence can be used for predicting the system performance. So instead of waiting 20 years to measure your system performance, you can use AI models in order to predict the performance of your system. Another important aspect is to optimize the design of your energy harvesting system using artificial intelligence models. Herein, I visit you to Google and to read more about the utilization of informatics and artificial intelligence in energy harvesting. Finally, as you know, you can see this full record of this lecture or this actually general talk as a part of the COP29 simulation on my YouTube channel. I will provide you with a QR code that you can scan and go directly to my YouTube channel, or you can simply search with my name. Thank you very much for your concentration. I hope that these 40 minutes was a bit useful for you to know more about solar energy and fuel cells and their impact to eliminate carbon dioxide emissions. Thank you very much, and maybe see you in a next or a new event. Thank you.